fans with the latest news, insights, and behind-the-scenes action from the world of stock car racing. Whether you're a die-hard fan or a casual observer, we're bringing you the checkered flag and coverage. So buckle up, grab your favorite drink, and get ready to make the next left turn with us, where every lap is an adventure.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Variety Sports Network. This is The Next Left Turn. I am your host, Josh Edwards, and with me, as always, Aaron, the cast man. Aaron, how are you today?
Joey Logano made me do this. That's why you don't see anything. Lee Petty, David Pearson, Tony Stewart, Darrell Waltrip, Cale Yarborough, and now Joey Logano.
Yep,
crazy.
10th one to do it. That's a huge accomplishment. Let's, regardless of how you felt this one went down and if Logano deserved to be in the playoffs or in the Final Four, it's a win and get in situation to get into the playoffs. And yeah, he had a 17.1 finishing mark average for the year, which is why Aaron has that in his name bar today. But Penske has got something figured out. Let's be honest. The Fords always run rough at the beginning of the year. Like, this is just how it's been from my understanding, the last 2 or 3 seasons. And Ford never really gets going until they hit summer. And then all of a sudden, summer hits and Ford rolls. And Penske, whether you love them or hate them, respect them or not, you got to admit that when push comes to shove, Penske can get cars into the playoffs and they can win championships. They've done it 3 years in a row now. In 22 it was Logano, 23 was Blaney, and in 24 it's Logano and Blaney behind him. So I really should stop complaining about Hendricks Motorsports.
Well, it's funny because we were complaining about the Fords in the beginning of the season. We were like, they're just not doing anything. And like you just said, they had a nice big shot right in the middle, summertime, which we all kind of figured. And a lot of their tracks they're really good at were in the playoffs as well. So I guess that kind of helped out their advantage. But I mean, tips off to Ford though.
And they put good cars out there this year, especially in the second half of the year, making adjustments. But before we dive into too much, we lost a legend this week. We lost a legend yesterday, I guess.
Yeah.
I saw this morning, or I saw it late last night. Bobby Allison has passed. I know my dad and my mom and people who I grew up with always talked about Bobby Allison and how great of a racer he was. Kenny Wallace came out this week and said that Bobby was the one who taught Rusty and Kenny and Mike how to drive and made them into racers. So our condolences out to Bobby Allison's family, the entire NASCAR family, and the sport in general, because he is he's one of the legends that's up there with the Dale Earnhardts and the Alan Quickies and the Richard Pettys. He's in that class of names. So.
Absolutely. And you could definitely watch. I when I was growing up, because YouTube kind of came in, I was able to watch those old races. You can still watch them today. They have the full races on for any year. And watching Bobby Allison was actually really good because it was either between him or Yarborough, the ones that I was watching that were just dominating. So definitely a really good racer. And also, too, a few weeks ago, I forgot to mention it, they gave him another win, which puts him 4th all time in wins. I forgot which track it was, but they NASCAR posted it up a few weeks ago. So,
I missed that.
Yeah, now he's 4th all time over. I think it's was it Waltrip? I think it's Waltrip's 5th now.
Could be. But anyways, our condolences to the Allison family. Like I said, a legend was lost today or this week. So, but this is championship weekend. Obviously, we spilled the beans already. Joey Logano did win the race and won the championship. But let's go through the race real quick, recap it, give you the highlights. We'll give you our thoughts, and I'm sure we'll have some comments here at the end that we want to discuss about NASCAR in general and what we're looking forward to in next season. So Martin Truex Jr. in his last race as a full-time NASCAR driver was on the pole today. And Aaron has graced us with Martin Truex's debut paint scheme, which is the same paint scheme he ran today for his final race as a full-time driver. We do know that Martin Truex will be racing in the Daytona 500 Which team is he doing that with? It's not Legacy. It's going to be.
Well, I don't think he has one unless you know more than me. I know Denny Hamlin said that he will gladly have him
Maybe it was
race for 2311. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. It was 2311. It was Denny Hamlin. So that's kind of the rumor out there. That's what I'm expecting. But it was good to see Truex Jr. on the pole right before his retirement. I mean, and he had a pretty solid first stage and second stage, really. So we'll get to it. Truex gets the jump and he takes the lead right off the bat. It was it was a typical start at Phoenix, just like my favorite part about this track is restarts and starts in general. This track, the way they cut the dog leg and seeing them go 5, 6, 7 wide and cutting all that and coming up, and I love the chaos of it. But we get into lap 2, and Ty Gibbs right off the bat has a little trouble. He runs a little wide. He ends up getting into the wall. He hooks the car. He slams the outside wall. Caution comes out right away. I had a lot of things going on during their early part of the race. So was this a mechanical thing or was this a driver error?
It looked like a driver error to me. It was like he just kind of got a little bit loose and then just went right into the wall because he didn't hit anybody. No one hit him. He was all alone in the turn. So I think it was just
you never heard anything. See, I thought a tie rod broke. Looking at how it looked like he got loose and he wiggled, and then it almost appeared that he had control, and all of a sudden the car snapped. So I thought a tie rod broke, but I never heard anything. All I ever saw was the replay.
Yeah, I know the 14 car had a broken tie rod because they didn't put out the caution, but they could have, but they didn't need to because he got in the pit row. But he was doing the same thing as tie rod snap. I didn't hear anything from Ty Gibbs unless maybe I missed it, but it could have been a tie rod because he literally was just taking that. It was turn 3.
Yeah.
And then just kind of went right into the wall. So it could have been a tie rod. But Ty Gibbs has had a pretty interesting season, to say the least, whether he's puking up chocolate milk out of his car and whatnot. But
his season has had some of the highest highs and the lowest lows.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was on the roller coaster all year long, just up and down and up and down. I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in a couple of years. I think he's a couple of years behind Christopher Bell. And I think Christopher Bell is going to be one of the most dominant drivers in NASCAR for the next 10 years.
I mean, did you watch him in Phoenix? He was dominating that second stage, that's for sure. Seabell, not Ty Gibbs.
I mean, yeah. Seabell's just been I thought, last year when I started watching NASCAR again, I kind of noticed him and I was like, I don't know this guy. He did an interview with Randy Carricker on the local radio down here before they raced at WWT last year. And us on the radio, I was like, oh, I'm going to cheer for him this week. Whatever. So I started paying attention. And then he comes out this year and I'm just like, good God, this kid's good. I mean, he's not like Jeff Gordon good, but you can tell out of the class of the drivers we have right now and with the team he's with, which probably helps, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. I would assume.
Yeah, he's like the same as Kyle Larson. He just loves to race. He doesn't go on social media. He always does his iRacing, but he just loves to race 24/7.
Yeah, and so I thought today I thought he could have won today, and he's one of those drivers that people feel like should have been in the playoff or the final 4 of the playoff at least. And he proved that I got shafted a little bit, but he's not going to cry about it. He's not a crybaby. So he'll be back next year, and he'll be back with a chip on his shoulder, I'm sure, with something to prove.
Absolutely. And also too, I saw there's an account that I retweeted. It said that Christopher Bell won the Winston Cup if it was the old school points. He just beat Chase Elliott by 5 points.
Wow. I mean, like I said, this kid is something special. He loves racing. We just need to get used to hearing his name, and he's going to be in the playoff more times than not. I would assume going forward, barring no major mechanical failures week in and week out and issues. But stage 1 was pretty clear cut. We get the restart, and Logano gets out front. He clears Truex Jr. off too, and that's really the end of stage 1. Logano never relinquished the lead. He worked his way through heavy traffic. Christopher Bell and Truex got close near the end of the stage, but never really pressured Logano, in my opinion. So Logano got stage win for stage one, Martin Truex Jr. second, Christopher Bell third, William Byron fourth, Chase Elliott fifth, Ryan Blaney sixth, Tyler Reddick seventh, Denny Hamlin eighth, Kyle Larson ninth, and Austin Cindric 10th. But this was kind of what we wanted, isn't it? I mean, all four playoff drivers finished stage one in the top 10. Like, that's what you want in this, right? That's how we want the format to go.
That's how I would.
Okay. Hold on. No, because Reddick wrecked early. He was the fourth driver. Right?
For the stage?
No, for the playoffs. He was in the final four.
Yeah.
And he wrecked early. Yeah, my fault. So we had three of the final four.
Wait. You're saying Tyler Reddick didn't get in the top 10 for stage one, or he got into a wreck early? Because I thought he was
got
still
wrecked
racing.
in the early. Yeah, he wrecked early.
Because he was
it was Gibbs. It was Gibbs. I'm sorry. I mixed those two up because they're both those cars.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Tyler Reddick was top 10 most of the race. I mean, obviously he finished 7th in stage one, but he was mostly top 10. And it was kind of funny though because Bubba was right behind him, or they always flip flop.
Yes, and race. Yeah, and Bubba had a fairly decent race. Him and Chastain were together a lot in stage one too, which was funny because they both got penalized last week, and they didn't have their crew chiefs nor their spotters.
I can't wait for door bumper. I can't wait for door bumper clear tomorrow because Bubba's spotter is one of the hosts. So I'm curious to what he's gonna have to say. But I was gonna say Bubba finished pretty good today because he had that Star Wars car paint scheme.
He likes those different paint schemes. I don't blame him. But so we had all four of the playoff drivers that were still in, finishing top 10 in stage one. This is what NASCAR is looking for. This is the ideal setup at this point. So we get ready for stage two. Logano leads the field down to pit lane, and Logano has a really bad stop. Chase Elliott picks up the lead, exiting pit road. And as we're getting ready to start stage two, something happens I've never seen happen before. Ever. The pace car forgets it's time to let the cars go racing, dives late to pit road, and ends up hitting the water or the big water barrels that protect the end of the wall going to pit road. And it looked like Chase Elliott almost tagged him because he cut that late right in front of Chase. This red flagged the race for a little bit. They had to clean everything up. But have you ever seen a pace car in an accident?
I haven't, and that was a euphemism for how this whole season's been. That just put the cherry on top.
I mean, I was just like, what? Like, how does that happen?
And then he goes back into the car. I was like, you're gonna trust this guy again, even though he just hit to the water barrels? All right.
I'm gonna take a wild guess that this individual will not be driving pace cars for NASCAR in the future, or at least not in the near future.
He might need a breathalyzer in the car.
Maybe a little bit. But anyway, so they get that cleaned up, get everything taken care of, and we finally get the green flag to drop for stage two. It's Elliott and Bell, and Bell goes deep into the corner on the outside lane, and he ends up taking the lead off too. It was a very aggressive move, and this is the point where I was like, "Uh-oh, Bell's here to play. He wants this because he's mad. He got a chip on his shoulder." And that's basically how stage two went for a fair amount of time. Blaney at this point in the race was working him as well. I mean, he was fast. Let's be honest. Joey Logano had the fastest lap of the race early, but Blaney's car was set up in stage two, and he was moving. Like, he was hauling.
It didn't matter. Ricky Bobby fast.
Basically, yeah, it was almost like a movie. With the quickness, it felt like he moved through the field. And the way he was passing competitors, it almost felt like it was something from Days of Thunder or Talladega Nights. He was just whipping by dudes. So Bell has the lead for a long time. It's like just after lap 100, he's got like a 2.3 second lead. And again, they're working traffic right now. So we get a green flag pit stop somewhere around 120, 130, and there's when all the cars pit. And we cycle through all that. And by the end of it, Bell's lead has shrunk to 1 second. It didn't work out for him in the pitting strategy to pick up time on Blaney. So, I mean, like I said, Blaney's working the traffic just like everybody else is, but he is gaining at a pace that is almost unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you think something was set up with his car special? Like, that's what I thought.
Maybe a
If he
little
wins
bit.
this race, he loses it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. But I did say, I watched another show, shout them out too, Above the Yellow Line. I said too, I said, how funny it'd be if Christopher Bell gets the victory on Phoenix. Is again, I thought he was a man on a mission. I thought he was gonna win it. He had the car for it. He was doing what he needed to do. It's just that green pit stop, green flag pit stop. And yeah, I thought Kyle Larson too was going to do the same thing just because he had 6 wins and everyone was complaining about that. But we talked about that last week. But yeah, I thought either one of those two drivers was going to give that statement like, I'm going to win this just because you guys booted us out in Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, I think Larson was scary. Bell was scary. I thought Elliott was scary for most of the day too.
He's really good at that track.
Oh, yeah.
Chase Elliott. Surprisingly too, with Tyler Reddick, his numbers don't really show it, but he actually is really good at Phoenix. So really, it kind of concerned me that he was in top 10 like most of the race, and then I think he finished 6th. But because at one point we had all 4 of the drivers within either they were like back to back, so it was Logano, Blaney, Byron together, and then it was like a Kyle Larson and then like Tyler Reddick. Like at one point they were all so close to each other, and then Tyler Reddick just kind of backed off. And then
I mean,
it was
for
in
the
the
first
top
half of
10,
the race,
and then yeah,
it was like that, really.
Yeah, even in like near the end of stage 2. I mean, stage 3 he was picking it up, but like I just didn't understand their strategy, like what Michael Jordan or whoever was thinking about it, but it was just weird because he's really good at that track, especially in the
I would guess
Xfinity
that
series.
Jordan doesn't have much to do with the strategy. Although I know he's been a NASCAR fan for a really, really long time and he understands the sport. No disrespect to MJ in any way, shape, or form.
He's probably
I'm
like,
just assuming he pays somebody to make those calls.
Yeah, he's probably just like, go fast, win.
Yeah, go win. Tell him what he needs to do to go faster. So we get through all the green flag pit stop cycle. Again, Blaney shrunk that lead down. And we get to like lap 170, and Bell has been working heavy traffic for a few laps. And Blaney at this point has closed the gap. And I mean closed the gap. He's on his tail. With about 10 laps left to go in stage 2, Blaney really starts working on Bell. He takes a deep, aggressive drive down into turn 3, and he just works Bell. I mean, clean, old school NASCAR, just works the bumper. He's not pushing, he's not bumping him, he's not even trying to wiggle him loose to get by him. He's just letting him know he's there. It takes him maybe a lap and a half of doing this to Bell, would you say? And Blaney gets around him, and Blaney takes off to win the stage. So at the end of stage 2, it's Blaney, Bell, Logano there again, Byron there again, Denny Hamlin's still up there in 5th. Chris Buescher, who had a fairly quiet day, got 6th in stage 2. Kyle Larson, 7th. Chase Elliott, 8th. Martin Truex Jr., again, another solid stage there, 9th. And then, again, Tyler Reddick finished 10th in stage 2. So there wasn't a lot of action for us between stage 1 and stage 2. I mean, again, the pit car or the pace car hitting the water barrels going to pit lane, that's quite a bit of action that we're not used to. So all's good in love and war. It's fun. We go to stage 3, and much like Logano, after stage 1, leads the field down pit road. Blaney doesn't have the best stop in the world, and he concedes the lead to Bell. Bell wins the race off the pit exit, and when we return to racing, Bell clears into turn 1 without a problem. And this is one of the good restarts. Everybody spreads out, and they're like 4 and 5 wide. And Reddick's got a little bumping going on at this point, where this is where I thought Reddick was going to make his move. Start of stage 3, He started driving a little bit more aggressive on the restarts. I thought he was really going to start making a push to the front.
Yeah. But then again, it just, I don't know. I just felt like he just didn't really have it at this track, which is a little odd, but he just kind of hovered around like that top 10. Didn't ever really make that big push, except for on the restart. But
that's what Blaney's been doing for the last 10 races. Hanging out in the top 10
Blaney's
and
a
waiting until
NASCAR
the end of
champion. He knows what he's doing.
Well, yeah, but I thought maybe Reddick was playing that strategy. Like, really, that's what I thought. I thought he was just like, my car's good enough. I don't need to show them everything. I just need to be close enough to strike. Like, I really thought that was the plan for Reddick. I mean, did you see that? You never thought that ever crossed your mind? That's totally a Blaney or
not really.
proven champion thing. Okay, cool. Fair enough.
I didn't know if that's just me.
Hey, that's cool. So again, it's real quiet. It's a real quiet race. We're getting down to like 80 laps left, and Logano and Blaney are up front, and you still got Byron up front and Bell's up front, and you really don't know who's going to win this race. But we get this pit stop here, and this is where things start getting interesting. And we were talking about this pre-show, and this might have happened a little bit before this, but we get to a point where Hendricks has the top 3 spots. It's Byron, Larson, and Elliott. And we know the pit stop rotation is coming up. And at this point, I'm at the rate. I'm watching and I'm going, Hendricks is going to win this. They're going to make sure Byron wins. He's got protection. Now, after what happened last week, that was different teams colluding together for manufacturing points and things of that nature. I don't know if NASCAR could implement the same kind of penalty if they would have rode this thing out together and made sure that nobody ever got to Byron. I'm sure if they did some actual blocking and whatnot, there'd be some penalties enforced. But I feel like because they are all on the same team, they could have done a little bit of what was done last week and probably gotten away with it and secured the championship for Hendricks.
Or they could just, yes, I thought they were going to almost like sandwich William Byron, keep him in that middle, so it's not looking too much like a collusion like it was for Chastain and Austin Dillon last week for William Byron. So I figured, okay, if they can do that, maneuver it, make it so like, hey, we're all competing. It's not like we're building a wall, so that way Christopher Bell can hit the wall. So yeah, I thought Hendricks was going to win it right there. I was like, okay, William Byron's got it. His tires, I think he had at least 15 to 20 more laps on those tires. And then he went out with the I'm going to call, I always forget what they're called. I'm going to call them the soft tires. I know when he was going to do it, because that's what he had left was the soft tires. I was like, all right, if he still has 15 to 20 more laps with these things, he can do a nice easy green pit. He's got a good enough commanding lead, because at that time Penske was what, like
second and third?
Yeah, but when they pitted and they came out, I think they were like 10, 14. So Byron still had that good cushion lead if you needed to. That's what I thought the strategy was, but not the case.
So like Bell and Blaney and Logano, and this is like in the middle of or near the end of the green flag pit cycle. Most of the guys have pitted. And I don't know. I'm trying to remember, because this was the part that I couldn't get straight. And I couldn't wrap my head around how it happened. But somehow Byron pits by himself.
Yes.
Larson and Elliott stay on the track. What? Like this to me was Hendrick giving away the championship. Like they had it. Like they had everything set up. But Byron goes alone? And then, what was it, 3 laps later, Zane Smith ends up into the outside wall and a caution comes out?
Yeah, it was literally like 1 lap after or whatever. Because then, who was it? It wasn't Dale Jarrett. I think it was Jeff Burton was like, you had 1 lap left. You could wait 1 more lap and you could have got your pit on caution.
I mean, it was, I don't know. It seemed like team management malpractice to me. Especially with the way that Logano and Blaney had been running all day. Like all day, they were 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Like that they really never were outside the top 5. They never were outside the top 10 except for during green flag pitting. Not that I can think of, except for maybe off the start or something. But that was total malpractice to me, in my honest opinion. So now everybody comes back down to pit except for Byron, and so his tires were what 7-8 laps older than everybody else's when they went to green.
Yes, I believe so.
But he was up front, so he took his gamble.
Yeah, he definitely took that shot, and it didn't really pay off because he started to slow down a bit with about, I want to say maybe like 30 laps left.
Yeah, like, that's about where we're going to be at here.
Or about 50. I'm sorry, about 50.
No, you're actually right. It was right around 30.
Was it 30? Okay, I'm thinking of
that's
when
that's why I have my notes. Like lap 31 or 31 laps to go. So this is the best restart of the day. Hands down the best restart of the day. Green flag drops. Byron races into turn 1, wins the race through turn 1. Bell, though, doesn't give up. And he continues to work the outside. Well, as we're doing all this, you got 5-6 wide behind you, and Logano shoots the gap. And he just goes off of 4. Cuts the dog leg, and as everybody else comes around, he ends up taking the lead. This is the moment that I was like, uh-oh, Penske's got it. Penske has a chance. Then listening to the broadcasters, they went to a thing that said Logano came down for that last pit stop, and he told the pit crew, I need the setup I had 2 stops ago. I need that setup because he knew what he wanted to do to win. They got him that setup. He ends up getting this lead, and with 30 laps to go, Logano has a 1.8 second lead on Byron. So I think it was with 38 laps to go or something like that. He is when this whole restart happened, I thought. So maybe you're right. Maybe it was closer to 50. And maybe 30 was where he's stretching out. I might have messed up my notes. But that's neither here nor there. We're not completely 100% accurate. We're just giving the floor.
Yeah, we don't work for NASCAR, so we don't.
No. I can't remember everything. I got kids.
Exactly.
I don't know why I'm doing this. Anyway, so Logano's got this lead with 25 laps left. Blaney starts working on Byron. And I know we were at 25 laps because I was doing the math at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And Blaney was in second by like 2.5 seconds with 23 laps left. With 12 laps to go, Blaney had closed that gap to 0.6 seconds.
I thought he had him. I thought he had Logano.
For sure we were getting our first repeat in over a decade. I thought for sure Blaney had him. And Blaney gets close. I mean, these dudes are teammates. They are really, really good friends. They spend time together.
They did ask Joey Logano, what would you do if the 12 car was behind you? And he said, as long as Penske gets the win.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's easy to say when you just won.
Yeah. Oh, no. They said it during the race when they got to about 1.6 seconds. Yeah. They were talking about it because they're like, oh man, Ryan Blaney's catching up. And then they said that. I was like, oh, maybe I saw that. When they said that, I was like, how are they going to work this? Is Ryan Blaney going to do a little bump and run? Or what's he going to do? Or is he going to go on the inside? Because Logano was hitting that inside a lot over Blaney. Because when Blaney was taking the high up, he wasn't really doing much. He was losing more. Yeah, he was like losing more seconds. And then once he tried to get a little bit lower, he increased it, but Logano was just sitting right there. He just kind of was just like mirroring him. I was like,
Well, it took him like 5 laps to cut that 0.6 of a second off.
Yep.
Because with about 7 laps to go, Blaney was literally riding Logano's bumper.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I thought Blaney made a mistake. I would have waited. I would have waited till like 4 laps left. I would have rode his bumper the entire time and waited to make my move.
And then pushed him at the last lap. Yeah, I would do the same thing.
Probably, to be honest with you, because as long as for a repeat championship, I don't care if he's on my team.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wiggle him out of 4 and try to get by him, and so we finish 1-2. I just want the championship. That's what
I would have did a Harrison Burton and Kyle Busch in Atlanta fall series.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I mean, it's not dirty.
Even Kyle Busch though was clean, so that guy that's
so,
telling you something.
Yeah, when Rowdy's like, yeah, it was clean mess. So they duke it out for like a lap and a half. Blaney's there, but Blaney loses. It gets a little loose, takes a line that probably shouldn't have taken. And they were still working through traffic at this point. And Logano's car was just working the traffic a little bit better. Like his car looked like Blaney's car looked in stage 2. Like it's almost like they just flipped. He was just moving. It was ridiculous. But Joey Logano ends up getting across the finish line first, wins the race, third win of the year, wins. Hold on, is that his third or fourth win of the year?
Third. I'm gonna say 4.
No, it's gotta be his 4th.
Yeah, I think it's his 4th because he won. Get in. I think he won in the round of 12, I believe it was, and did he win in the round of 16? That'd be 3 though, because he had 2 wins. I don't remember, but I know he was like really low in like top 5s and top 10s this year.
He had a real rough season, but this goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. It's a win and get in situation. Penske, if they can get in, they're going to be dangerous. They have something with this new car. They know how to run the back half of the season. Now, we'll see if this holds true next year because the playoff schedule is different next year. Different tracks.
Yep.
Different order. So, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I got a dry spot in my throat tonight. No jokes. So Joey Logano wins the race, wins the championship. Ryan Blaney finishes second. Penske picks up a 3rd championship in a row. And as we've already said, Joey Logano gets his 3rd NASCAR Cup championship. So let's go over the final race results real quick, just so everybody knows. Logano wins, Blaney second, Byron third, 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3 for 3 of the 4 final playoff guys. Larson 4th, Bell 5th, Reddick 6th. That was your 4th playoff finalist. Bubba Wallace finishes 7th, Chase Elliott 8th, Chris Buescher 9th, Daniel Suarez finishes top 10 to end his season. Denny Hamlin 11th, Noah Gragson 12th, Austin Cindric finishes strong on 13th, Alex Bowman 14th, Brad Keselowski 15th. Harrison Burton 16th, Martin Truex Jr. I'm sure it was a disappointing end. He hits 17th. Carson Hocevar has a decent finish in 18th, Ross Chastain 19th, Todd Gilliland to 20th, Kyle Busch 21st. Eric Jones finishes 22nd, Daniel Hemrick 23rd, Josh Berry 24th, Derek Cross, haven't seen him at a track in quite some time, finishes 25th, Jimmy Johnson 26th, Austin Dillon 27th, Justin Haley 28th, Chase Briscoe 29th, John Hunter Nemechek 30th. Michael McDowell came in 31st, Corey LaJoie 32nd, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 33rd, Kaz Gralla 34th, JJ Yelly 35th, Chad Fincham, again another rare name, was at this race, finishes 36th, Ryan Preece 37th, Jeb Burton, who we rarely see, was in 38th, Zane Smith 39th, and Ty Gibbs, who wrecked on lap 2, finished 40th.
Well, I just saw too. Breaking news: Carson Hocevar, Rookie of the Year.
Wow, I'm not. You know what? I'm not surprised though.
He
had a great second half of the season.
Yeah, and people were kind of like bullish because of the way he was like hitting other cars and making them spin out and stuff. But I was like, that's NASCAR. Who cares?
That's NASCAR when you're a rookie and trying to prove a point.
Yeah, exactly.
So you belong there. And I don't get mad at him for it. Now, I hope he develops a little bit more next year, a little bit cleaner driver. We'll see what happens. Usually, most of these guys do get cleaner and cleaner as they develop their careers. So, end of the season, we hate the playoff format because we don't think all the best drivers get into the finals. I think. What do you think? What do you think we do to the playoff format? We know they're not going to change. If you could change the playoff format, would you go back to the Winston Cup format? Would you go back to the Chase, or would you alter this playoff format?
I don't think the Winston Cup's ever coming back, and I think just because new fans are coming into the sport, and I don't think they would like that. I think probably the chase might come back. So my theory is if we're gonna talk about how to get drivers in, do the 10 races. You don't have the points, and then you just go by that. 10 races, 10 drivers, just goes by that for the chase. Kevin Harvick, Kevin Harvick on his pod was talking about if you're the regular season winner, you automatically go to the round of the championship four.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, automatically. And then he said, it's like, how do you say it? Like the top 4 drivers, they're like already in certain stages, but the regular season champ should be in the final 4. But yeah, Ellen Sawyer said it. It's never going to happen. But anyone in the comments that watches this wants to how you would do it or what's better, because it seems like 95% of the sport, which is us, the old heads, are not liking this playoff system, not liking how NASCAR handled itself this year. So definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah.
So it's definitely not what I grew up on, right? I was never really a fan of the chase. I mean, again, that was the time period where I wasn't really watching NASCAR, but I would, because it's something I grew up on, I'd always go back and check, see what happened. I don't mind the playoff format. I don't like the way it's done, but I don't think the format itself is bad. I think maybe you open up to 20 cars and you run it. Can't do like conferences, but like, okay, you win a race during the regular season, you're in. Point blank. Regular season champ. I don't think maybe should be into the final 4, but should make the final 8 no matter what. Right. They should have to fight a little bit. But maybe do 20 cars. And then do it more in a playoff bracket setup. Like a tournament setup, you know what I'm saying? So like whoever's in first at the start of the playoffs, I don't know, to eliminate a guy, like it's who finishes better. So like 1 versus 20, 2 versus 19.
Well, it's funny that you say that.
And then you can eliminate those guys going forward. Something along those lines.
It's funny that you say that because they actually are doing an in-season tournament starting June 28th. So it's from June 28th to July 27th, and the tracks are Atlanta, Chicago, Sonoma, Dover, Indianapolis is the in-season tournament. And then, yes, very interesting on NASCAR.
So SVG will end up winning the in-season tournament.
I mean, we already established that he's already just put 5 wins already on his resume.
Hopefully, we have our betting, but at that point, we won't. It's they said it's going to be 9 months before they get it all set up and done. So I won't be able to place a futures bet on that. Just go throw 5 on that for him to win the in-season tournament. I guaranteed payouts $500.
For real, I'm about to check it out myself because it is legal where I'm at. So, if
you win and you make that bet, you got to split it with me, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. So playoffs for next year. So maybe this will help us too. So it goes Darlington, Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Yes.
Bristol, New Hampshire, Kansas, Charlotte Roval, Vegas, Talladega, Martinsville, Phoenix, obviously.
I wish they'd get away from the Charlotte Roval.
I'm telling me.
Like, it definitely should not be a playoff race.
No, it should not.
Give me Daytona Roval.
I'll take that one.
Give me that track. Give me 500 miles of that track for a race.
That's definitely like prove it. Like, how good are you really?
I mean, please. I would not mind going to Daytona 3 times a year if you gave me that. Give me the 500. Give me the night race in the summer. Give me the road course. And make it a night race. Or an evening race.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
Or 5 or something. Because then at that point, you get a little bit of the 24 hours of Daytona. You get the day and the night with it. I just think it would be a good combination. I think it'd be a blast.
Yeah, because you could essentially, I'm looking right now, so it has Daytona August 23rd. So you could essentially just flip it with Charlotte Roval because then you're going to Darlington the next week, so it wouldn't really be a problem.
Yeah. Hey, NASCAR, take notes.
For real.
Trust me.
Also take notes. You couldn't cheat or do anything to get Kyle Busch a victory this year, snapping a 19-year streak.
That's huge.
Very
He just
huge.
couldn't do it.
Nope.
Do you think do you think he gets out of his contract?
I know he's on for next year. And I think that's it. I mean, would Richard Childress do it? That's the question.
I don't know.
Or what? Maybe he would if he knows he can get Alex Bowman.
Like do a trade.
In a
Can they
sense,
trade in NASCAR?
I don't think so. I wish they could, but maybe because Alex Bowman's probably mad at Hendrick just because of what all that swirl and buzz that's been going around. So maybe he's like, you know what? Maybe I should go to RCR, prove myself. Kyle Busch comes back to Hendrick because I mean he would essentially be the Mark Martin of Hendrick and go from there because when he gets in those Hendrick cars, he's going to win races. So it's not like Rick Hendrick's going to not make any money.
Well, that's our thought. Our thought is if you just put him in a Hendrick car, he wins races.
I think he would. I mean, everyone gets their parts from Hendrick.
Okay, but do you think maybe he's lost his edge? Could this just be him losing the test of time against Father Time?
It's possible. Plus, too, a lot of people I talk with, they say that because they think he's had 2 kids, he had that lawsuit with Rowdy Energy, which is his. Maybe he's getting too distracted and too soft. Whereas before in the M&M's paint scheme, he was just doing whatever he wanted with Joe Gibbs. Yeah, beast. So it's possible he could just be getting older and he's just like, forget it. I made so much money.
I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of storylines looking at going into the next season. We got the charters, drivers moving left and right. Everybody doesn't have a ride yet. We got the lawsuits going on.
Chandler Smith might go back in construction in the Xfinity series. He has no ride, so he might go back to work in construction.
There is so much that's going to go on in the offseason here.
Booty Barker's is leaving Bubba Wallace, and he's.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago. So he's staying with 2311. He's just going into an upper management role. So they're bringing in Charles Danicky, who was the 19 car for the truck team. So a little weird. I don't know how that's going to work because Truck Series is completely different from the Cup.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what that strategy is, but maybe Denny Hamlin knows something we don't. But
maybe Bubba drove with this guy before in his younger days.
Maybe he would have. I don't know that one. I could be.
Bubba had to come up through the system.
No, he did. Yeah.
Put him in a NASCAR.
No. He came up. Yeah, because he was really good in the Xfinity.
Yeah. And that's back when he went by Daryl.
Yeah.
Do you realize it took me like a year to figure out that Daryl Wallace Jr. was Bubba? I thought we had 2 different Wallaces racing that were black. And I was like, huh?
I can believe it.
And then I realized, oh, that's Bubba. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. We good.
And
but no, I mean, I'm looking forward to next season.
Yeah, it should be good. Cole Custer's comes back, so let's see. As you're talking about with Carson Hocevar, that guy was a little rough when he came up. He was doing a lot of a lot of hits on guys. I believe it was like Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, a few other people were telling him like, "Yo, you need to calm down. Like you're getting a little rowdy up in here." Yeah. So.
See that pedal on the left? Use it a little bit more often.
It's a little bit more. So I think he's ready though. I think he's ready. And shout out to Justin Allgaier. That's as Junior Motorsports champion for the Xfinity. He started 37th yesterday in a backup car.
And got the job
done. Also, too, Ty Majeski won the Truck Series. I really thought it was going to be Heim time. And definitely wrong. It was Majeski's day to lose, pretty much.
Man, I was rooting for Carruth all season.
Oh, Raja, yeah.
Yeah.
The races that I saw, he was doing okay. Like he was kind of hovering around the top 15. Other than that one win that he had, he really wasn't doing too much. Also, too, Frankie Muniz, full-time driver for the Truck Series next year as well.
I will be tuning into the Truck Series a little bit more next year just to see how this former childhood star actor is going to turn his life around and become a NASCAR racer.
Well, apparently in 2011 or 2012, he did that celebrity like NASCAR type cars race. I don't think it was I don't think it was the Cars Tour, but I guess he won that, and then the kind of was scratching that, scratching the eyes of like people, like, oh, interesting. And then I think he was doing some karts for a while, and then he was part time this year for the Truck Series. So I guess he really enjoys racing. I guess he knew Dale Earnhardt just for a little bit, like senior, not junior.
Right.
And I believe he was around. Was he there at Daytona that year? Maybe he was around, but yeah, I guess he has some good ties in like the racing history. I never knew that about him.
Yeah, he's always been a big racing fan, from what I understand. So it'll be interesting to see that next year as well. I don't know, man. There's gonna be so much that unfolds between now and January. No racing now for a couple months.
Is that just for everywhere, or just for NASCAR? Because I feel like there's always something going on. I know the Chili Bowls comes up too, right?
Yeah, Chili Bowl, and then I'm sure there's probably, I think IMSA's done for the year. There might be something out there,
There's
GTD
always
Pros
something
or something going on, but no major racing going on right now. Gotta wait now for the 24 hours of Daytona, where Penske will be putting a Porsche out there to go win again, I'm sure. We may do coverage of that. Is that something you'd be interested in doing?
I wouldn't mind it.
We had
Pretty
fun with
cool.
the 500 last year, right?
I thought so.
Maybe we'll look at doing that 24 hours of Daytona. You guys message us. Let us know if you guys want us to cover the 24 hours of Daytona. We get enough of you guys who want us to cover that one. We will. I'm guessing we do 2 short episodes on that.
Yeah.
Kind of the night to wrap up the first day, and then obviously to wrap up the end of the race. I've said something you guys be interested in. Message us in. Let us know. Comment in the section. Like, subscribe, whatever, the whole 9 yards. And that's something we can look at doing for you. But other than that, I got nothing else, man. It was a hell of a season. The guy who won the championship is not the guy who I pictured winning it this year. Didn't even think they would be close 2 months into the season. But yeah.
I had Tyler Reddick, so.
I mean, I wouldn't have had a problem with Reddick winning it, to be honest with you. But so Logano wins it. Penske gets their 3rd in the row. NASCAR closes its chapter on 2024. We say farewell to Stewart-Haas Racing as a 4-car team. They will be back next year as Haas Racing, I guess, as 1 car with Cole Custer being their driver. If there's any big breaking news or something that happens, you may pop up in the offseason. You never know. But thanks for riding us out the whole season with us here on the Next Left Turn, taking every turn with us, left and right, covering our follies and our anger issues and taking this journey with us, because I had a lot of fun learning about these new cars and getting back in NASCAR this year. Aaron, I appreciate you coming on and being with me for the large majority of the season. I know I didn't have you at the beginning, but thank God you jumped in the spring, because you made this a lot more fun for me.
Yeah, just a small town kid in the comment section.
Yeah, that's all it took. Hey, come here, man. Let's do this.
He knows a little bit of racing.
I just need somebody. But everybody, thank you so much. We hope you guys have a very happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. What else am I missing, man?
I think you very much
There's
covered
something
it.
else I'm missing. If I missed any of your holidays, I greatly apologize. I try to remember them all. But I hope you all have a great holiday season, and we'll see you middle of February. Take care, everybody.